Askreddit Asks, serious Redditors who have been to therapy, what is the differences between going to a therapist and talking it out with someone you really trust?
My therapist knows the questions to ask to direct my thoughts in a productive direction. She gives me homework, exercises to practice tracking my feelings back to the thoughts that generated them. For example, she knows how to keep my thoughts focused on progress, instead of letting me wander off in some random direction. There's a hell of a lot more to therapy than just talking it out. Edit. I changed right direction to productive direction, didn't realize the unwanted implications of there being a right or wrong way to think. My apologies.
Do you find it a lot more helpful than just talking to a friend about it?
My wife is a therapist. She's like a conversation ninja. Therapists know what to say, when to say it and how to say it to get you the most benefit.
So the reason I ask is because I feel like my wife needs one. She has an eating disorder, PTSD, anxiety and depression. She refuses to go to a therapist because she feels she can get the same effect just talking to me about it. I want to know if that's true and if it's worth investing in one.
And even when to push you to say, realize something yourself. Having someone tell you is one thing. Having you realize, say something is another.
Thank you for this.
One big thing for me is that a therapist will generally not tell you what to think. They will help you understand why you think the way that you do and give you the option to try and change with their help. A lot of people don't want to go because they feel like they will be forced to change. But that isn't how actual therapy works. Friends are awesome to talk to. But therapists have spent years studying how brains and mental health works. They will have insights that are beyond what friends can tell you.
Exactly. While it's easier for us to talk to friends in the beginning, they don't know what is the best thing to say at times. But while it's tough to talk to a therapist in the beginning, tough to open up to a stranger, but it gets easier and they know exactly how to comfort us.
Plus you can tell your therapist your deep dark secrets that you wouldn't dare tell your friends, family.
My dad's a shrink, so this answer may be a bit biased. I would say just talking to pals is a bit like using WebMD instead of going to a doctor. You might get the right answers and some peace of mind, but the actual nuances of what you are dealing with will likely be lost without the eye of a professional. And sometimes those nuances are the difference between getting useful advice and destructive advice.
That's a great analogy. Well said.
I like the friend analogy. Even a blind cat may stumble upon a dead mouse. But that doesn't make it a good hunter.
So the reason I ask is because I feel like my wife needs one. She has an eating disorder, PTSD, anxiety and depression. She refuses to go to a therapist because she feels she can get the same effect just talking to me about it. I want to know if that's true and if it's worth investing in one.
Your wife is my wife? Seriously though, therapy and medicine has helped my wife a lot. And I bet it would help yours too. I was also her fake therapist for years before she finally started going. It weighs far too heavy on you.
I saw a therapist who used cognitive behavior therapy to treat depression. It wasn't just talking it out, though there was some of that. More importantly, they taught me how to recognize what specific negative thoughts are behind negative emotions, and dig down even deeper to identify the negative self-beliefs behind those thoughts. Then, to be able to recognize in the moment when I'm have negative thoughts, evaluate how accurate they are, and reframe them in a more accurate, positive light, to prevent a downward spiral of rumination and negative self-talk. It was basically like going to see a personal trainer, but for my mind, specific exercises, homework, etc., and it really was like exercise. The more you engage in certain thought patterns, the more your brain learns to engage in those patterns. And the easier it gets. This is true both positively and negatively. At first I really had to pay attention to what was going on in my head, and try really hard to reframe things more positively. But it got easier and more automatic as time went on. Obviously, talking about your problems with people close to you is important. And therapy wasn't a replacement for that. But I also don't think just talking to my friends and family would have helped me with the deeper issues at all. Or even realize what the deeper issues were.
Lol, you have no idea how close I came to crying when you said that. Face with tears of joy.
Friend, that is not good. You are not being put in a good position. It is okay to advocate for yourself and tell her that while you can love and support her until your face turns blue, you cannot be her doctor. And also I think maybe a little therapy can do you some good. Please take care of yourself.
Also, my therapist said that in every other relationship outside of therapy, every person wants something out of the other person. This does not occur in the therapy relationship, and it can be a wholly healing, supporting, unique relationship that cannot be replicated simply because your therapist doesn't want anything from you. Besides money, I guess, haha. But even in therapy, if someone is defensive about why we pay them, it can still be used in a therapeutic way.
Do you find it a lot more helpful than just talking to a friend about it?
Talking to friends is messy. There is history there. You have feelings tied up in each other. Expectations, fears, etc. Therapists are objective, unbiased, and goal-oriented. Way different.
It's a totally different thing. So yes, I do.
It's a totally different thing. So yes, I do.
Do you have a CBT or DBT therapist? Just curious.
My current therapist is a CBT therapist.
What do those abbreviations mean and what's the difference?
What do these mean?
Friend, that is not good. You are not being put in a good position. It is okay to advocate for yourself and tell her that while you can love and support her until your face turns blue, you cannot be her doctor. And also I think maybe a little therapy can do you some good. Please take care of yourself.
Trust me, I would be on board with therapy. I have my own issues. I'm really asking for my wife.
This single comment may have just convinced me to finally see a therapist myself.
Trust me, I would be on board with therapy. I have my own issues. I'm really asking for my wife.
That's a great analogy. Well said.
Remove.
And you're a lot less likely to have cancer afterward.
Remove.
Therapists are better at knowing what you really need long-term and not just what will make you feel better for the rest of the day. For example, when I started with my therapist, I really needed someone to make me upset so that I'd be forced to work through my experiences. I'm bad at talking about terrible shit. I'll make jokes, change subject, literally anything so long as I don't have to get anywhere near the root event. But my therapist wouldn't let me. If I joked or changed subject, she just kept going undeterred until I was crying and pissed. Then she helped me climb back out of the hole in a healthy way. Nobody who loves me could have done that. They'd have backed out when I started getting upset instead of continuing to push. Plus, they're not as biased. They won't agree with you just because they like you. If you say something totally wild, they'll call you out. Other people may need other things from therapists. But I need someone to call out my flaws and force me to confront things I avoid.
Therapy isn't just beneficial to you. It's beneficial to everyone who loves you. Wow, that is the most meaningful sentence I've read on this post. Thank you for sharing that. Edit. This is by far my highest karma post ever, so I thought I'd use that to shed some light on a cool initiative that relates to this subject. If that's allowed. URL redacted.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day, you incredible people.